right, huddle up, huddle up. We're gonna crank these engines up on one. All right? Wait, set. Drivers, start your engines.
This is the finish line.
I coached some great offensive linemen in the past. Larry Little, Dwight Stevenson, Jim Langer, all Hall of Famers, and Richmond Webb belongs to that same group.
Here are your hosts, legendary Miami Dolphins left tackle Richmond Webb, Reason, and Mr. BallGame.
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we're back here for another episode of The Finish Line. You might be asking yourself, instead of Carmen Sandiego, where in the world is Mr. BallGame? And he decided to play a game of wheels on the bus, go round and round on the way home, back from track. So he'll be joining us any minute. Until then, it is myself and the legendary Richmond Webb. Richmond, how are you feeling on this fine Wednesday as it is officially, and get your minds out of the gutter in the comments, hump day? So how are you feeling as we are now on to the other side towards the weekend? We are over the hump.
Hey, man, we're over the hump. You know, that dime piece, and then I heard about that 11K today, so want to give a shout out to my brother, Mr. Reed's 11,000 followers on YouTube. Man, that's an accomplishment, and just keep doing what you're doing. But, you know, just to be on Twitter and read the comments of, you know, people showing appreciation what you do. I know a lot of people don't realize the amount of time it takes to come up with this and to do the show, you know, 5-6 days a week and study, come up with content and reach out and put it together. And do it at the fashion you do it at such a high level, man. It's definitely appreciated by me, but as far as the other ones, and so 11K had to give you a shout out on that. Congratulations, and hopefully it's getting a little dark outside, but hopefully BallGame found that baton. He probably was working on some relay hand exchanges or something. But yeah,
I don't believe his 500 horsepower stories because he should have been home in 20 minutes flat. Huh? I don't believe his story now whatsoever. Yeah. I'm wondering if he's driving a jalopy now at the rate this guy goes.
I need to figure out what kind of program or something. He ain't got no long tube headers or something. I got to talk to him. We got to get him to go out a little bit more.
Oh, never mind. He never maxes out the 500 horsepower because he'd be dressing so fly. He got the window down. He want everyone to see in the hood when he pulls up. Right?
Yeah. He got that big dolphin member in his chest with his shirt buttoned all the way down to his navel, and that's that walking in the club back like in the old school days and all that. But yeah, he should be with us. But man, I'm doing good. Like I say, just a good energy, and then you know all the information I keep hearing coming out about the Dolphins and this and that and the direction they're heading. Man, it's in a real good space. But I was on Twitter the last couple of days, and I you know, it's a little side note, but I know you know him and you cool with him, but Dudley Do-Wrong, man, it's like he'll say
hard
something
out in these streets for him, eh?
Man, they coming at my man. I'm like,
yeah, but yo, Spicy Reason been coming out lately too. I've been coming out. I've been getting. They send me back to my old ways, man.
But you know what? So every now and then, somebody need a little chastising. You know, you gotta give it to them, and then they be like, okay. It's just like if you have a dumb and a dog in the yard, and this and that, and one of the little puppies starts smelling itself, and then he put a little correction on him. He let him know, I'm still.
Yeah, these guys wilding out over here. Shout out to Griffin Gaming. Got in touch with my inner Fibonacci sequence today by jamming out to the entire Lateralis album by Tool, bro. Tool, one of my favorite bands of all time. Maynard James Keenan, to me, one of the greatest musicians, let alone singers of all time. Might be a little too white for some of the people in the chat. But hey, if you've never listened to him, another band to check out, Perfect Circle. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Shout out to Rhino Sith, the god of the mod squad. He says Reason effing works his ass off, unlike some others in this community. He actually cares about this community. Amen, Richmond. Listen, I wanted to speak on that for a sec too, because listen, I'm not out here one of these people that's insecure about my position in this community, or myself as a man, that I gotta buy YouTube subscribers or buy YouTube followers. I don't gotta be out here and sell you guys on a gimmick. In fact, a lot of the trends you see a lot of people on Twitter, on YouTube do, I talk about all the time. We started here on Phinside The NFL with me, and EM, and then me, Richmond, and BallGame, first ever, YouTuber to have, a podcast with a NFL legend. You know what I mean? Like, all we do is, we go the first dude to bring all 22 out here to do big
Martin,
in-depth evaluations. Martin over here, like we've been doing it, and that's why I'm so proud of the 11K, because I know every single one was gained organically, and with not just mine, but the hard work of all these people who believed in me and what we're doing here. So, and on top of this, I've cultivated real relationships with, I get it, people, the aura and the starstruck of Richmond Webb, but I look at Richmond as like a good friend. And if it wasn't for this community, and if it wasn't for all of the people in the comments and all the people watching who push me to continuously set those trends or set that bar in this community, if it wasn't for all the people who watch, I wouldn't have cultivated all these relationships with Richmond, with BallGame, with EM, with Martin, with Rhino, with Pyro. I wouldn't have all these great friendships in my life if it wasn't for all the people who watch and who believe, because you guys are the ones who continuously push me to, to set the standard and set the bar, man. And, so that's why when people are like, I appreciate you, Reason, it not only does it overly flatter me, but at the same point, people need to thank themselves too, because they're the reason why, I try to be such a perfectionist, why I try to have, why I try to have the highest quality of brand. It's because I want to give all these people who spend their time, who donate to the channel, who watch, who tell their friends about it, I want to give them something to be proud of. And I think we all do a great job here. And man, I can't thank you enough, Richmond, for, people don't know how much, how close we are privately, but the things you've done for me privately, and and how much, people just don't understand. They think it's just YouTube, you know what I mean? And it's much bigger than that. YouTube could shut down tomorrow, and I would still call you. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
but you know what? I think it goes back, and even when you started early on, I think the reason you're having the success is that your goal was to educate the Dolphin community and for them to get an understanding. And as long as you kept that at the forefront and you keep that your focus, you're going to continue to grow. And that's why it's happening. So you're on that path, just stay on it. All the rest of it's going to take care of itself. So, yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Did you enjoy that little Sergeant Hartman video, that Full Metal?
Oh, bro. Too early in the morning for that, bro. You can't be doing that now.
Bro, Deshaun hit me up on Instagram, bro.
I was like, man, you gotta send me a text and say, hey, bro, I'm finna post something. Get your mind right. Make sure you swallow it, so you chew it up, get all that out, and then get on Twitter or something like that. That was a mean one there. Yeah, you hurt your boy with that one. I wasn't ready for that one.
Powerhouse, one of the day ones here, says, congrats on 11K, Reason. I'm glad to be on the right side of YouTube. This is the true home of the real Dolphin fans. I appreciate you. Powerhouse has been a day one guy, good guy, man. Appreciate you, man. It's a guy who's gone from, man, to see him grow as a person, just as a person, just since I've gotten to know him here. But man, I got demonetized yesterday because I played it on the episode yesterday. So YouTube demonetized me just off the audio, even though it's edited with all that stuff. I guess the reference track, I got hit with the reference track of the audio, so they demonetized the video and stuff. But Bro, it was worth it. That Deshaun Elliott like hit me up with like a crying emoji, in the replies on Instagram when I posted it, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, oh man, if the players are like at least he saw it, because I had some guy like hop in the chat and like just give it to Deshaun Elliott. And Deshaun Elliott like responded and was like, yo, man, like people like you. And I try to tell these people, like, listen, we don't our thoughts and opinions. Don't be naive enough to think that you matter. They matter at the end of the day to these people, because they don't, unless they know you personally. And that's basically what he told the person in my comments. And I liked Deshaun Elliott comment, because he's right. I knew, you know what I mean? But shout out to Deshaun Elliott, man. Like, listen, I never wanted him to get cut, but the whole reason I did that thing was I said, because to me, Richmond, it was never about even just Tua. It's if we get on a losing streak, right? And a camera or a microphone gets in your face. If you've shown a lack of self-awareness on social media, how can I trust you to have that self-awareness in other circumstances? So I would make him self-aware through coaching in training camp. You understand what I'm saying? Hint, wink, wink. Because I know back in the 80s and the 90s, that's what they would do, bro. You're going to be an idiot. All right, we'll coach that idiot out of you. You know, they used to do that to me in high school and college in like the early 2000s. I can imagine what they did in the 80s and 70s and the 60s. And what's going on, Mr. BallGame? Look at this man. Ramsey comes here, and he comes on here with the FSU.
Look at him.
Chest out, chin up. All right, I see you.
Where the baton at? Yeah, look at you. Got your Florida State gear on. Where the baton at, man? Come on. But yeah, what's up, BallGame? You got to take yourself off mute, bro. You got to defend yourself, man. Come on, where you at, bro?
I said, where's the baton at? Stop.
Track practice, baby. Tell me what's going on. We can't hear you, baby. Come on, talk to me.
We did well, man. We did well.
Okay.
Sorry I'm late, but everything
that was worth it, bro.
Hey, everything I do nowadays, man, is about the kids, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, take your spikes off. You're at home now. Take your spikes off, man. Come on, now. You ain't on that rope no more. What's going on, bro?
Nah, chilling, man. Life's good, bro. My kids went out and they performed well today, man. They left it on the track, man. That's all I could ever ask for. We won the 1600, the 800. Ooh. We won second in the 4x4. We took second in the 4x1, and we took shot put in the long jump. So that's enough points for us to win the meet. So we did.
That's good, bro. Because you know
I have a lot of sprinters, so we have to. Yeah.
Man, they ain't got nothing but speed in South Florida, bro. You got that's good. If you got that, that's good. Yeah. That's a lot of people don't know about Florida down there. They got some boys that can ride down there.
I'm trying to build some quarter horses. You know what I'm saying? My kids are running quarter right now, that 400. Our best time right now is the best time today a kid ran today was 49.8. So yeah. I think by districts, he could easily be running if he listens to me. Yeah, I can get him to at least I think like 47.9, 48 flat. You feel me? And he a seventh grader.
That's good.
Yeah.
Huh?
So, yeah, seventh grader. He built different. Yeah, man. Yeah. Indian
that quarter hurt, bro.
Love him
that quarter,
to death, man. His daddy. That's all they do. He trains all year long, and he just wants to go out and dominate, man. And he showed out today. So it's amazing watching them kids perform out there. You know. They leave it all on they leave it all out on the track, you know what I mean? And I tell them, I say, spill the tank. Don't take anything home with you. As long as you give me max effort, I'll give you max coaching, and I'll pour into you as much as I can. So, and they do it, bro. So it's the most rewarding thing right now, you know.
You got to give it to us one time, like your boy. I'm coming.
We coming.
You know what's crazy too? BallGame. People would be surprised how many of these top tier athletes, especially offensively, played track and field. Right? You know, I'm trying to remember who I remember because I talked to EM. It's either a running back. It was a running back or quarterback. I was telling him about a prospect. I can't remember the name. I was trying to look at what you guys, and I was telling him about it. And like the guy was he was a hurdles champion. like track champion.
Well,
I forget who it was. I'll hit up EM after the show and say,
check this out. You know,
like hurdles, like you know how hard that is. Jesus,
you know Mike Davis that plays for the Chargers.
Yeah.
The secondary guy.
Yeah.
When they locked up, then they played all that man press against that dude was the 200. He was the 200 winner. He won the 200 meters in college, bro.
Whoa.
Legitimate track guy. Yeah.
Dude.
That's how,
you know Devin A. Chain, the running back that I love?
Yeah.
Against Texas A&M, went up against Texas in the track meet this year, and he won the 100 meter and the 200 meter. Like he's ridiculous. Like, and he was a high school track star too.
Yeah. So they were talking about how the Chargers this and the Chargers that. I'm like, man, Chargers had some dogs over there. Them boys were fast, man.
Oh. Yeah.
There was no wonder why. Yeah, wasn't no wonder.
Is that gold like lettering?
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Every time I see it, I think of everyone. You know how you see those tweets where it's like they show the logo and they say, I remember the first Florida State as a young guy. I remember the first floor when I started getting into college football, like pretty heavily. I remember the first Florida State guy that I was really like enamored with was Peter Warrick.
Oh yeah,
he's a beast.
Really good friend of mine.
I told you about this ball. Yeah, I told you about this ball game. I just remember being like so enamored with him. Like I always had to trade for him. You know what I mean? Like that kid, he was unbelievable. That's a guy who I always think about. What if injuries, never.
Pete, Ron Dugans, all them dudes, Lavernius Coles, all them dudes just get their. I used to wear them all out in Madden. They came along, but they aged my brothers. They're the age of my brothers. So when I was off in the Navy, when I used to come home on leave and whatnot, they used to be all over at my brother's house kicking it. My brother, he played at FAM and played a little at State too. So they were all friends, and then they be all kicking it at the house. So I come through and run the table on all of them. But yeah,
that's amazing.
So I know them dudes, man, real well.
Yeah. Man, there's some great players that come through. Man, a lot of great players come through.
Grinding and gold is where it's at. I got love for them Texas schools too, Richmond. Don't win. I ain't gonna hate on y'all. I know y'all got them dogs out there too, but
we coming. This
is where it's at right here for me. Oh yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, but bro, like in those early 2000s, like FSU was pumping out talent, but and then you go look at like all the talent that the U was pumping out, like right, and then you even look at like the mid 2000s, the talent that was coming out of the Gators when like Chris Leak was the quarterback, and then right, and then like obviously Tebow took over and stuff like that, and man, Florida was pumping it out for a good portion there, right?
There's still a lot of talent down here, man. But a lot of kids are doing like triple sports. So most of them, MLB is getting them, bro.
Yeah,
a lot of them going because
you get guaranteed more guaranteed money right away too, right?
Yeah,
you get it as a rookie.
Yeah, they getting drafted right out of high school, and they're saying, you know what, love football, but I can take care of my family now instead of later. I'm out.
And I'm not messed up. And I'm not messed up after 40. Right?
Yep.
I'm not messed. There's a good chance I'm not messed up after 40.
I have a kid.
That just means you ain't a dog. That means you ain't a dog. That's what it means.
I won't drop his name yet, Richmond, but he's a 7th grader right now. He's 6'2 and a half, 266 pounds.
Jesus.
All muscle. Not you can't find no fat on him, bro. Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. I got invited to go with him to their first game is in Dallas. They're playing in Dallas. He's on a traveling 14 and under team. He's gonna be the real deal, bro.
Is he a D lineman? What is he playing?
No. Offensive tackle. Left tackle. Yep. Okay. Left tackle. Yep. I'll drop his name to you later, but he is legit.
Okay.
Oh, don't you remember that? Y'all don't remember that player, that 12-year-old running back?
From where?
What's it called? Here, I'll pull it up right now. This kid. from Texas. This one. Don't you remember this a couple months ago? Watch.
Missed that 12-year-old.
Look at this kid. Look at this kid.
Oh, I seen that picture.
You remember that kid?
Yeah.
Jeremiah Johnson from Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah, dude with the mustache and all.
Yeah, bro. He got like tats on his forearm and stuff. And apparently he's 12 years old. He's just 12.
Yeah, that ain't right.
12 plus, man. Don't do that.
Somebody lying on that birth certificate. I ain't buying that, bro. I'm sorry. I've seen some big kids in my day in youth football, but that no.
I had those kids over there when I was 6. Oh my god. Yeah, anyways, all right, let's get into this, man. We got some stuff to get into. Let's start off here with Irv Smith and the tight end search. Irv Smith turned down the Miami Dolphins, and if you look here, this is straight from the Bengals website. And if you look at right here, Irv Smith says it came down to 2 AFC teams, and he opted for Joe Burrow and the 2-time AFC finalist Bengals over the emerging Dolphins and his old college quarterback. So he said he felt like Cincinnati has the best chance to win a Super Bowl. I take that as a slight. I take that as a challenge, gentlemen. Listen, I do think the only other 2 teams on our level in the AFC are Cincinnati and the Bengals, just off rosters on paper. That's all I'm going off of, okay? Because that's all we got. The season hasn't started yet. Your thoughts on Irv Smith choosing the Bengals over the Dolphins, and maybe you guys got some thoughts on Irv Smith, the player, because listen, he's okay. I think he's like a bottom tier starter. You know what I mean? But my question is to you, like, we had already signed Saubert, right? And this clearly happened after the Saubert fact. Irv Smith, does this make you think that tight end in the draft is as a high priority as everyone's making out? Because if they would have signed Irv Smith and added him to Saubert and Durham Smythe with Tanner Connor developing, would they even have drafted a tight end? So your guys' thoughts on Irv Smith choosing the Bengals?
I don't have a problem with it. Like you said, he probably looking, like you say, they've been to the playoffs, went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Then, they was in the playoffs this year. So like you said, Cincinnati, Kansas City, and like you say, looking at it on paper, the good thing is now we're in that conversation versus a couple of years ago, it wouldn't have even been close. Or they've been like, Cincinnati or the Dolphins. Why the hell are you talking about the Dolphins? They're not. But now we're in the conversation. So, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But I think the good thing is that it shows that we're still active in free agency. And like you said, if we did sign Irv Smith, we probably wouldn't be getting the tight end in the draft, which now saying, okay, they're probably saying, let's prioritize and fill as much as we can during free agency, and then we'll address what we don't get in the draft. And they know some people, they're going to get some, they're not. But I don't have a problem with it. Just buckle up, put your mouthpiece in when we come to town or when y'all come to town. But we just got to do it. But hey, sometimes you make a choice, you got to live with it. But I'm happy for him. He in Cincinnati, this and that. Like I said, it's a good organization, good team. Happy for him. But hey, I'm riding with the Dolphins. Y'all already know where I'm at. So go ahead, Mr. BallGame. You muted.
I think it's really significant that we're in a position where players are of all different positions now at this point, of looking at the Dolphins as a location. I think, when it's all said and done, they have the ability to choose their destinations, and I don't have an issue with him choosing to go to the Bengals. I think that was a bad choice, though, because I think clearly we had the better roster, and I think when it's all said and done, we'll clearly finish well ahead of them and on our way to some more added success for this organization. Irv Smith is a guy that I like him as a player. You know, I had him on my list of guys that we could go out and get to finish off this tight end room, but I do believe that now at this point that he decided to go a different route, that tight end will be one of the positions that we'll address. I mean, I don't think, to some degree, I think it's a good idea to do that. You know, Saubert is only here on a 1-year deal. Smythe is on the last year of his deal, and then Tanner Connor is still developing. Why not bring in another guy to compete with the whole group? And if the guy is a true tight end, I like, a guy like a Laporta or somebody like that. If you can get him, bring him in, let him compete for time, and then the best man win the position. There's always competition. I think competition is always a good thing to have at all your positions. So, you shot your shot in free agency, you missed. So yeah, you just do it in the draft. Good luck to Irv Smith over there with the Bengals. But we got some good things cooking in Miami. So, we'll see you when we see you, pimping.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to ask yourself, it would have been nice to clean that up and get that shored up, but now that's another thing we got to be very, we got to be aware of. And the reason why is because shout out to Knight, says FSU hoodie bringing back some Ron Simmons memories. Oh damn, we going back to the NWA days. There's an interesting little portion of an article that that Barry Jackson put out just as soon as we missed out, right? It's called literally Miami Dolphins lose out on one tight end. So they're talking about Irv Smith, right? And I'm just going to read the opening here and then we'll get into everything. The Dolphins recently lost out on one tight end when veteran Irv Smith opted for Cincinnati over Miami, but Miami plans to supplement its group of Durham Smythe, Eric Saubert, and developmental prospect Tanner Connor. Dolphins tight end coach John Embry intends to go various campuses to work out a handful of tight ends in the weeks ahead. According to a source involved with one of those draft prospects, quote unquote, they're being active at that position, the source said. So I'm going to be dropping my tight end big board this weekend. Actually, funny enough, it's coming out. I'm probably going to drop it on Sunday. And there's going to be some guys available. They've done all their. I know they've done homework on at least 9 of my top 10 guys, and I'm fine with all top 10 of my guys being written. So once you get out of my top 10, I kind of But the thing is, I think 7 of those top 10 guys could be gone by the end of day 2. Like, that's how good and top heavy this class is, right? And so, your guys' thoughts on this, because this is kind of putting us in the position where we've been with running back and right tackle lately, gentlemen. Saubert and Smythe only have 1 year left on their deals, right? Tanner Connor's a developmental guy. Running back room, everyone you can basically move off of after 1 year. Everyone's on 1 year deals. Right tackle, Jackson, this is his 4th year. He's on a 1 year deal right now. Whatever veteran you're going to sign, you see where I'm going to the pattern here? So now we're staring down the barrel with tight end that you got to figure it out. What are your guys' thoughts on? Because this is what I'm going with all these positions, not just tight end. You know what I don't like with this strategy, gentlemen? The draft never goes the way you expect it's going to go. And you've now put yourself in a position with those 3 positions. You have no long-term solution as of March 29th, 2023. And you've only got a pick at 51 and a pick in the 80s. So what are your guys' thoughts on them kind of putting themselves in a position where they've got multiple holes that mean something and matter with no long-term solution, and they've only got really 2 high picks to supplement those holes alone, let alone, depth needed at safety, depth needed at linebacker, depth needed in the interior defensive line, because Raekwon Davis right? Go check out, if you guys haven't, my Patreon, patreon.com/Phinside The NFL, had an update this morning. A surprise position they've been sniffing heavily around in this draft class. Go check it out. Anyways, your guys' thoughts on that, because I don't like that method, BallGame.
Yeah, I can see where that could be areas of concern. I think with them not signing Irv Smith Jr., I think priority will probably be tight end in the draft. And like you said, the good thing, if it's that many tight ends, that's possibly, the top 2 days, hopefully one of them slips. And I think they will be monitoring that closely. And if not, maybe they'll try to do something to move up to grab one of those guys. And then the other thing I take into consideration also is, like you said, the running back room, which I would think would be possibly more what they would be thinking about. But, a lot of players is going to come up in June as far as salary cap deals, this and that. And maybe they might be looking to say, maybe we can snatch a guy here. But the right tackle deal, I would like to see them sign somebody that I don't know how they're going to do that. But I think tight end, I think they possibly right now are seriously looking to possibly get somebody out the draft, especially after they sign Smith. And then, I think it'll be probably several running backs, big name running backs that, if they want to have an addition or whatever, they can add to the roster. Some, I think it'll be some pickings, after the June thing for salary cap. And then, like you said, the good thing is that players are actually looking to possibly come here because they say, okay, if I got to take less money, at least let me go somewhere where they should make the playoffs. So the way they're putting things together, we got a chance to do something special down there. So it's always good when players consider that, because it's like, maybe I need a year or two and then I can hopefully jump back out there and get my value back up. But if not, I'm going to sit here and do this and I can go to Dolphins, and they should be, barring a bunch of injuries or something like that, should be a playoff team or be competitive enough to go deep in the playoffs, to have a shot to try to, get to the bowl. And I think that's what every player wants. They want to put their jury on their hand and have an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl. So it is for concern, but that's the only way, I guess, the way I'm trying to process it is, I think priority right now will probably be tight end in the draft, and then hopefully sign a couple players after the June cut for salary caps and stuff like that, and try to fill those other voids or whatever. Your
thoughts, BallGame?
So if I look at this team, the way they sit right now, especially on the offensive side of the ball, we have 2 Ferraris, a Dodge Charger, 4 Toyota 4Runners, 1 Lexus the running back room, 1 Lexus at quarterback, and 3 Ford Rangers at tight end. It's hard. It's difficult. It's extremely difficult to find really what, what I'm saying? I mean, we can hope and pray, really, that we might be able to get maybe like a Ford Expedition at the tight end spot. You can find it in the draft. That'll be an upgrade, right, to some degree. But they've obviously looking at that position. But when you think about the way we sit, really and truthfully, I know why he would want an upgrade at that position, just because it's an integral part of the next layer of what he wants to add to this offense. But I don't necessarily think it's that more important than the tackle spot. So I don't know, man. I think you're taking a real risk at not showing up, saying consistently working towards showing up what we need most, which is the protection fixed, right? I think the other pieces are interchangeable, especially at the tight end spot. All you need to do is commit to being a good blocker in the run game and catching your intermediate passes and being able to shake a linebacker every now and then. And that I think that will suffice in this offense, because the 2 Ferraris and that Dodge Charger are going to pull most of the coverage. So that tight end just needs to be a guy that's sure-handed, a guy that he can rely on to, for the check downs, between him, the check downs being the tight end and the running back, right? Like, I don't think, but you know, they got to fix the line, man. They got to figure out some type of way. As long as we don't have any civics, we ain't got no civics. Y'all do realize all these vehicles right here was, you know, they built tough. So, it's just tough, man. Got to show up the tackle spot, though. I think the priority has to be figure out some way, somehow. Amazing up to now, man, is structuring a lot of these deals and finding players and getting guys that fit the scheme as opposed to getting the big names. But you got to make some type of move before we go into training camp with just what we got. At least, me? Oh, you better know it, baby. I'm a Fleetwood. Don't trip. Old school Fleetwood. Cadillac. I'm a Cadillac through and through. I drive an Avalanche, but it ain't no, you know what I'm saying? I'm always going to be Cadillac. Premium. Hug the road, baby. What about the
T-top Monte Carlo, man? Hold up, man.
You know,
you got too many wheels over there, man. Hold up, dog.
He asked me what type of car am I? You know what I'm saying? I'm a Cadillac, baby. I'm old school, right? I'm old school now, Richmond, right? 51. I'm old school.
I ain't got no problem. So that's priority. If you
the T-top, the T-top, the Sunday driver, bro.
No, that should be negotiable. The T-top and the Avalanche. I'm glad you said that. You got that on tape now. I'm glad you said that.
All right. Well, you know, the keys all yours when you get down. You come down. I'm not gonna turn you away from nothing, bro. I just at this point right now, I think we all on the same page, man. Show up the trenches. Right? They've done an amazing job on defense. Right? They're gonna make Christian Wilkins a priority. That right tackle spot. And the left guards, you got to do something to ensure that at least, if nothing else, competition is there to push these guys to be better, right? Yeah. You can't just say that, you know, saying you got your starter and then the guys behind them don't push to knock them out of that spot, because then we just spinning our wheels and doing the same thing over again, and that's just not going to cut it, especially if we're trying to make it to the next level. So I got faith in Greer that he'll pull something off. I just don't know where it's going to come from, because a lot of people ain't really just letting quality right tackles out their organizations without you got to give up something significant. And I don't.
For sure.
Yeah. So. And
they're paying them too. So 411 in the room. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. I wanted to play this clip from, you should go check out the full interview from Mike McDaniel's interview with Mike Silver, and where he spoke about Tua here. And I got a couple takeaways I want to pick your guys' brains about. So let's go over that. Let's play that for everyone here, so they can see exactly what I'm talking about. Let's bring that up. All right, let's play that for y'all.
From my vantage point, who does this guy have that believes in him? So we have to start with he has to know that someone's 100% in his corner, which I see as that's what a coach is, and that, no, dude, you can do it. So I had to convince him that I believed in him so then he can in turn allow himself, you know, because I've been through it.
Sure.
And I saw that. And then there was a particular moment that set everything off. And it was in early March or something. We're going through free agency. And in that free agent process, we're meeting with all the scouts and coaches in a room, and we're discussing all sorts of things about, okay, well, we need to do this, that, or the other, and all the different directions you can go in free agency to build your team. And I knew in my mind that Tua needed skill position players that were dynamic with the ball in their hands, because I saw him as, you know, this dude is a point guard, right? He has a gift that way. And then some of the people in the personnel were like, you know what? No, we need to spend money on offensive linemen. And I could feel that I knew that I disagreed with it, but I hate hey, everyone, no, because I said so.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Taking the information. Let me go back to the office. And I cut on the tape. And so I'm cutting on the tape to build the tape to explain to the entire coaching staff and to start the conversation from my lens so we can get to where we need to go. And I'm watching different skill positions. And then as I progress through the tape, I start to notice this trend. And it's like, wow, that's like the 7th different outbreak that I've watched Tua throw to the field. And just for a quick explanation of that is an outbreak to the field is I see once or twice from a particular quarterback in a season because the receiver's running away from you, meaning the ball's in the air longer, which is a higher risk for defenders to make up that ground, undercut, and pick six for a catastrophic turnover. This is a high risk throw that quarterbacks are very nervous to make. And he's doing it.
And so and then the receiver's going.
So like, let's say the ball is on the left hash.
Okay.
We're going that way.
Yep.
The ball's on the left hash. So the receiver from where the ball's snapped, the receiver on the right is running an out route.
Oh, got it.
To the field.
Yardage,
right? So it'd be on the right to the field, and he would make pinpoint throws that are down the field, 10-yard throws, but are literally 40-yard throws. And I'm like,
and fearlessly.
And so then what started as an explanation of like how guys needed to be more open for Tua turned into this Marvel sesh that started at about 6:30 p.m. And then I just start watching until midnight on a random weekday in the off season, and end up compiling this thing where I'm like, I thought I knew. I didn't even know what we're sitting on. And I'm like freaking out, and I'm sitting on this. I know for a fact from this night of study that this is the best quarterback for our offense that I've ever that I've had a chance to coach.
Whoa.
And I'm like freaking out. Right. So then I call Ann Nolan, our head of PR, and I'm like, just write this date down. This is crazy. Okay. Get off the phone with her, call Chris Greer. I'm like, this is midnight. I'm like, dude, I just got to tell you, I've gone through like 700 different passes from 700 passes. And I cannot believe what I'm seeing. This guy is doing stuff that I just haven't focused all my attention on this quite yet. And we are sitting on a gold mine. We need to do everything we do moving forward should be skill position players that have the ability to do stuff with the ball in their hands, because this guy, if they're open, he'll get it to them. And, and this is something that we've done in San Francisco. I can see the vision where we have run after the catch yak guys.
Right. Now you got to tell Tua.
But I'm not even there yet. Then I go home. It's probably 1 a.m. I can't even sleep. I come back at 3, refine the tape, and come up with, I need to show the whole organization this tape today.
Whoa.
So, there's a couple things to unpack here. Let's go chronologically. Let's start off at the top. Your guys' thoughts, because we just finished talking about the offensive line. Your guys' thoughts after you hear about, and we'll talk specifically about what he said with Tua, but your thoughts on him prioritizing spending money on dynamic playmakers as opposed to he knew everyone wanted to basically spend all the money on the offensive line. We just talked about the offensive line. Your guys' thoughts on that?
What? Can I take?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think it's pretty in line with his thought process. Well, I can understand the thought process. One, because the type of quarterback that Tua is, right, and he's getting in the fact that Tua is getting the ball out of his hands so quickly. If you can get the ball out to guys that can immediately create for themselves out on the edges, then you don't necessarily need guys to be stalwarts up front for you, right? And if they're able to get it out, it still becomes a problem though if you got a tackle that's getting demolished and getting pushed into your quarterback's face. But I can understand the concept. Conceptually, I can understand why he would covet skill players, guys that are big yak guys that can make guys move and, affect the defense with their speed and agility and things of that nature because of Tua's ability to get the ball to spaces and places on the field that only his guys can get the ball and then let them create. I get that. I understand that. So I can see why he was sitting there watching 6.5, 7 hours of the tape and then feel like he had to come back and steer the rest of the coaching staff to this being the philosophy. Let's go offense heavy with skill position guys over just having, average to above average play of the O-line. I get it. I've seen that conceptually before because if you can effectively master that and incorporate some semblance of just an effective run game, your defense is going to put you in position to be on the field a lot, hopefully. So let your Lexus that Tua is. He says what did he call him? Called him a point guard, right?
Yep.
Let him distribute to your other scorers.
Yep.
And that's a beautiful analogy because we had this conversation previously before. That's what he does. He gets the ball to him on spaces like a point guard would on the hardwood. He gets it to him in spots on the field that only they can catch it and only they can capitalize for it. So I can understand that vision. Even from a defensive standpoint, I can see why he would go so heavy on trying to make sure Tua has all of the skill players he needs because ultimately this dude is dynamic with getting the ball to the very most important place on the field, which is a spot that only his guys can catch it. So I'm not surprised at all about that, to be truthful with you. So I can see that.
Your thoughts, Richmond?
Yeah, I was sitting there looking, and when you first hear that, the staff as a whole want to address offensive line, I think everybody understands how important that is. But I think with McDaniel, I think his mind just processes different, and sometimes when you compare it to what you had before, so if you kind of look at the 49ers offense, if you compare Garoppolo to Tua, I think Tua he's a different quarterback. And I think Tua what he was saying was how fast he goes through his progressions. And when you see a kid that's not scared to make that throw to the field away from him, that's a high percentage chance that could possibly, like you said, pick six. But he's confident enough to consistently throw that. Like you said, a lot of quarterbacks don't like throwing that throw. I think you got to take into it the whole just what he was saying. And then you look at it, the 49ers had Kittle, they had Deebo Samuels, guys that if you got the ball to them, they were always good as far as making yak, this and that. So you look at it, okay, we already had Waddle, you add Tyreek. And so with him, he's saying, okay, I can get that out. The good thing is I think they did add Teron Armstead. I think he still understands that he's got to shore up the offensive line. But with as fast as he processes stuff, he probably said, I can kind of get away with this. Once the offensive line is shored up or figured out where it's just a solid group, and I think he's going to add more to the offense that, we thought we saw some things last year. But when you got dynamic playmakers like a Cheetah, a Waddle, even some of the running backs we added, they're not Deebo, but one thing I think he really focuses on is speed. Because a lot of times, if you can get to that next level or something, if that guy misses, it's a foot race. And we've saw it several times as far as the amount of big plays that, the Dolphins had this net. So I think his mind, he was just processed like, man, if I can surround this guy with, it's a gold mine. And I think it goes again to where they say, okay, let's give this kid this fifth-year option because really it's a no-brainer. I think he knows what they have, and then I think he also knew that it's important as a young player coming in the league, trying to prove yourself, that your coaches believe in you. If you get a player that's young, high draft pick, you already got pressure you put on yourself to prove yourself that you are worthy of that pick or whatever. And then he's got to fight through not only trying to prove himself, but really feel that, the coach doesn't believe him and stuff like that. That's a lot of mental stuff going on in your head. So for him to say, I got to build this kid back up, this and that, he's got the tools, he's got to do it. And then bring in a guy like a Tyreek that's, come from Kansas City, won this and that. And even some of the stuff that Tyreek was telling him, it was just reassurance to build him up. And man, we just got to keep him healthy, keep him up, and we're going to be happy. So yeah, I didn't have a problem with what he said, but I do think the offensive line will be addressed. I think he just said, let's get this portion of it first, and then we can kind of fill that in.
Yeah, go ahead.
The crazy thing is that some people would hear that him saying that he needed to get to a space of trust where Tua understood that he truly believed in him. They take that as a weakness, but they don't understand, right? I think the most important relationship you can ever have in football is the one that you have directly with your coach, right? Yeah. Whether it be your position coach or it be your head coach. If you have someone, even if you're doubting yourself, even if you're having bad days and you're having things going on around you that just are affecting you to the point that you're just not yourself, for that coach to say, don't worry about it, just keep pushing. I got you. I believe in you. I know this ain't you. Keep pushing. Keep working. Keep working. That's unreal, all right? Because at the end of the day, when they look to the sideline, man, I'm telling you, bro, that's important for anybody that's ever played a team sport, especially football, because it's just you. It's you and but one quarterback out there, and the other 10 guys are looking at you, and you want to know when you're standing in that huddle, bro, that no matter what, they have no doubts about you. You know what I mean? And you erase those doubts about yourself by knowing that the people that stand on the sideline while you on the field believe in you to the point that they have no doubts about anything that you can accomplish. That is an amazing feeling. And for Mike to understand what they had taken to through previously, and this kid was still here, standing at the line, willing to go to the next phase of trying to ensure that he was, what this organization needs. I commend Mike for being able to recognize that, bro, because that's a true. A lot of coaches want to miss that. You know what I'm saying? Or the thought, he'll figure it out. He's a quarterback. He's got to be. But quarterbacks, just like anybody else, bro, they get into their feelings. They get into their emotions. They're harder on themselves than anyone because at the end of the day, they catch all of the blame for anything that goes wrong. And they also they get all of the praise when things go amazingly well. So it's a crazy position. But I think Mike did an amazing job of restoring his faith in coaches because that last regime, boy, this kid's been through a lot, bro.
And it wasn't just him. Look what they did to Phillips. Phillips had to get a confidence coach because that last regime was just what they did to players. It wasn't brutal. Just Tua, right? So, another key thing too, guys, he kind of said was Tua is the best quarterback he's seen in this system. Right? He said that he's basically the perfect quarterback for this system. Now, if you go back to November, guys, when we were on our bye week, I did a show and I laid it out for everyone because last offseason I kept telling people, stop comparing him to Jimmy G. That's lazy. Start comparing him to Matt Ryan. You look at last year, this was heading in. At that point in Matt Ryan's MVP season, right, he had 38 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 4,944 yards, 69.9 completion percentage, 309 yards per game. He averaged 7.1 touchdown percentage on his throws, 1.3 interception percentage, 9.3 yards per attempt, a 9.1 average depth of target, had about 2.59 in time to throw on average, and had a 79.6 QBR, but a 117.1 passer rating. Now, Tua, up until November 19th, when he was on that 12-11 week MVP stretch, he was projected, if he would have stayed healthy, across a 17-game season, he would have finished with 44 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 5,234 yards, 307.9 yards per game, a 72.2 completion percentage. He averaged 7.7 touchdown percentage on his throws, a 0.85 interception percentage, 9.2 yards per attempt, 9.41 average depth of target, 2.51 time to throw, a 122 passer rating, and an 80.6 QBR. Look at how almost identical he was putting up projected numbers to what Matt Ryan did in that MVP year. And that was, guys, that was Tua's first years. And first year in that system, third year in football, Matt Ryan had already been in the league for a ton of years already. He'd already been in for more than a handful of years. He'd already been in the NFL. And then he had that MVP season. Guys, when he says the perfect quarterback, he was putting up MVP in that system numbers in year 1. Imagine what we're going to do in year 2, and I'll take it even further for you guys. All right? Check this one out. This is Tua Tagovailoa against quote-unquote elite defenses, the top 5 scoring defenses in the NFL. This is San Fran, Buffalo, Baltimore. The Jets were a top 5 scoring defense, and the Cowboys were a top 5 scoring defense, okay? Look at this. He had the 4th highest EPA per play, and he averaged the 2nd most yards per play against elite defenses. But remember, we're told Tua doesn't perform against top-notch defenses, remember? Remember that's the narrative, all right? Even with the San Fran game
hater
in
narrative.
There, all right? And then let's go even further. What does he do against elite and when you mix in the top 5 defenses, but you say, okay, what about when you mix them in with the bottom 5? Awful and elite. Mix them together.
Yeah, right at the top, baby. But we knew this, though.
So when all these people come out here, guys, and they try to tell you these narratives, timestamp this episode, okay?
When I went back, I tell you, I'm telling people from the beginning, bro, they can call me whatever they want. But when I went back and really dug deep into the film, I felt like if the Dolphins did their due diligence to do their job, to put things around him for him to be successful, because every quarterback needs it. I don't give a damn who they think out here in the NFL.
Remember, BallGame, we'd say that every week for how many years on those Tua Tuesdays, and they got labeled as excuses, BallGame. Yeah. Go ahead, but we got labeled as excuses.
You get him what he needs. This kid is going to blow your doors off, and stats don't lie. I don't care what people say. You can get in their feelings. Yep, you know what I'm saying? The injury concerns are one thing, but at the end of the day, this kid is maximum. He's at the top of the list when you talk about maximum efficiency and maximum play at that position. He stay healthy, they're going to be in trouble. That's it.
Yes, sir. I agree 110%.
He stay healthy, they're in trouble. I'm telling you.
Yep. Listen, people don't want to hear it, but
the haters can feel however they want to.
Yeah. People don't want to hear BallGame, but guess what? That's Tom Brady levels when you drop that E word. You know that's my favorite word when it comes to the position. Right? When you are the most efficient quarterback in the NFL, that's how you win championships. That's how you sustain.
That's saying a lot. That's saying a lot, bro.
Yeah, man. So it's no longer ability. It's now some things to clean up on film, which we know Fangio's going to, and that defense is going to help him clean up, and it's durability, like you mentioned. Final thoughts,
every day
gentlemen.
he in practice.
Go ahead, BallGame. Go ahead.
Every day he in practice going forward, it's going to make him that much more of a problem in the rest of the league. Having to go against Vic, refining the things that without a shadow of a doubt, Mike is a perfectionist. So the things that Tua doesn't do well, those are going to be the first things, and he's going to be consistently putting those things in front of him to do. This kid is going to outwork anybody. He's going to work harder than anybody because he wants to ensure that the team is successful, which means that the ultimate goal for him doesn't reside in just his own personal gains. It resides in the fact that he believes without a shadow of a doubt it's time to put his teammates in the best positions to be successful. And if he can do that consistently, he knows without a shadow of a doubt they will thrive. That is the true marking of a true quarterback, not an ego-driven individual that's worried about stats, but making sure that everybody on the team is able to contribute to the best of their abilities. And I think, without a shadow of a doubt, the Dolphins fan base should be lucky that we have him because there's no ego there. A lot of times, ego in football ruins players, ruins situations, and it completely changes your locker room and things of that nature. But every player, with the exception of Elliott, who gonna get his, they're gonna work all this foolishness out of him. He'll be a believer too. Tua gonna make a believer out of him as well. And then they gel, and I think this team's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
As long as he stay healthy, like we hope he does, Dolphins gonna do some great things, bro. So them top defenses, that harder schedule, what we got, the number 2 toughest schedule or something.
I ain't worried.
Is that what they call it? That ain't gonna matter.
Listen. If our key defensive players stay healthy, and our key offensive players stay healthy, obviously including Tua as a big factor in that,
it won't matter.
It won't matter. We're gonna go on a run. Richmond, your final thoughts, brother?
Yeah, I think my final thoughts is, kind of echo what BallGame said, but I think one of the important things tonight was people actually being able to see it come from Coach McDaniel, his thought process with the video you showed versus you saying this about to a BallGame or me.
Yeah.
Because now I've never met Coach McDaniel. I don't think either of you guys. So you're getting it straight from him. It's not like we said, hey, we're doing a podcast. Can you say some good things about Tua to kind of reassure what we've been saying, this and that? So this came directly from him, and he kind of explained what he saw, how he saw it, the amount of time he went in looking at film and saw things that I knew what he was talking about, but if he wouldn't have said it before that's nothing I look for. I never played quarterback, so I just know whether you can sling the rock, you're a player. I can look at a guy and tell, oh, this guy, he can play. No matter what the position, you can see that, but I can't tell you, oh, he has these attributes, this and that. But when he explained that, I said, okay, that does make sense. You throw it to the wide side of the field, this and that. You're right. DB can come up under you, take it to the house. So I'm just glad you showed the video, because now take away everything we've said, just listen to the video and just listen with open ears and say, okay, does that make sense or doesn't make sense? And like BallGame said, regardless of the quarterback, you got to surround them with talent for them to be successful. And I don't care. You pick any quarterback that's been really successful. If you kind of look at his supporting cast, you're going to say, oh, yeah, he has some dogs with him, this and that. So that's part of the game. But I'm just glad you showed the video, because that's the first thing I looked at and said, okay, at least it's coming from somebody other than somebody on the show that didn't have any affiliation with Phinside The NFL.
Yeah.
Just be objective when you listen, and hopefully people get that. But other than that, I'm good. Great show again as well. And shout out again, 11K. Come on, you looking for your baton? Come on, BallGame. What you got?
The fact that he pointed out that he was watching on the film, that deep out. I mean, I talked about this. Remember when we talked about this reason that's the one throw that I wish that even Lamar could get into his repertoire, right? That and the dig route. The fact that he said he watched repeatedly over and over again Tua hit that with precision. That on the left hash, as a lefty, throwing clearly across his body to a receiver, cutting on the outcut, going to that most you won't find.
It's a very hard throw. We talk about all the time when we do the breakdown.
Quarterbacks comfortable throwing that pass unless they're on the short side of the field.
Yeah, exactly.
You feel me?
Me and Martin literally highlight that. Bro, he does that so many times every week. We highlight it all the time when we do our breakdowns.
Crazy, man. Like I don't know what else he got to do.
Yeah, man. That's what we've always said. These people that say he has a noodle arm, he can make every NFL throw. That's like literally not even a discussion anymore. It's just dumb. Anyways, all right, guys. If you are a Patreon, check out the latest update that we went today. If you are a channel member, it's under the community tab. Some sniffing around a surprise position for the Miami Dolphins in their draft class. We had some updates on the offensive line. A lot of draft nuggets that I updated today on the Patreon and the channel members community tab. So go check that out if you're a Patreon member or a channel member. Smash that like button on the way out. Still 440 of you in the room. I will be live tomorrow with Neil for another episode of Fin Too Deep. Then on Sunday, I will be dropping my tight end big board. We'll be going over all those guys. I got 15 guys, so top 10 and then honorable mentions with some all 22 attached. So got a lot of content for you. And then next week we're going to be doing the tackle big board. So we're going to be getting into tackles because clearly that needs to be addressed here. So we got a lot of content coming your way. The draft is like literally a month away. So here it comes, baby. Draft season is upon us. As always, thank you, BallGame. Thank you, Richmond. It was a great show. We hope you all enjoyed it. And shout out to everyone in the chat who donated today. Just again, smash the like button. Do the little things, please. It takes 1 second of your time. Just smash that like button. And we just passed 11K. Just passed 11K. So I want to thank all of you for that. And now we are on our way to 15 and 20K. So let's get there. Let's get there. All right.
15.
See all y'all on the next time. Fins up all day, every day. Have a fantastic evening, everyone.